This episode of Capes and Lunatics is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. Get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
Recording has started.
Hello, dear listeners, and welcome once again to Superconnectivity. I'm your host, Charlie, the Professor Esser, and with me is the chameleon himself.
Mossman Zor? No, Phil. Phil me and Perich.
There you go, Philip. Yeah, you see, Phil's the best chameleon because you trust him so much. You just wouldn't doubt that face. You'd think, how could he lie to me? But he does. Does, kids.
The best liars.
Break your heart. Okay, welcome to the show. Okay, what to talk about this week? Gem Shooter is coming to Image Comics, Philip.
Yes, sir.
A hard-boiled, funny animal comic.
So, what do you think about that? Is that his wheelhouse? I mean,
well, you know what? He was integral in the creation of Star Comics and my fan favorite and yours, Peter Porker, the Spectacular Spartan. So, you know what? This might be a place where he can really shine. Mm. You know, sometimes I think artists often find really amazing places to do their work. Mm-hmm. And, you know, where they can tell some really fun stories that mess with your head. And, you know, it's like I get into fights with people about whether or not Marvel Apes is better than Marvel Zombies a lot. I make the point that Marvel Zombies is kind of has its moments of humor, whereas it is an inherently dark series. Oh, whereas Marvel Apes is something that is meant to be inherently humorous, but actually explores deep and dark concepts. So, you know what? I'm actually really excited by this because I want to see what Gem Shooter will do with this, because I'm sure it will actually be kind of interesting. You know, first off, I like a funny animal comic to start with. Anyone that watches DuckTales know that funny animals don't just have to be one note, but can still fulfill their purpose as funny animals, which is to be funny. So I'm kind of intrigued by this. You know, and of course I'm a big Gem Shooter fan.
Oh yeah.
That's he needs to hire.
Oh, Gem Shooter.
Yeah, because you know what? This is what I'll tell you. The man can crack a whip. And what DC needs is some good whip cracking going on over there.
And I mean, just from his work back at Marvel in the 80s, you could just be like, oh, we got Gem Shooter, you know, trumpet that like they trumpeted Bendis. Be like, you know, he's bringing back the old school comics you love, you know.
Well, yeah. What I will say is that obviously Bendis as a creative had more cachet than Shooter did as an editor. Now, Bendis Shooter as a creative is great, mm-hmm. But I think his actual, you know, it's kind of like Stan Lee. You know, Stan Lee was a great creator, but I think 90% of what he did was he was a great editor. Mm-hmm. A great editor, you actually take everybody else's lousy and you make it good.
Oh yeah, I think Stan was better at hype. I mean, he was a great writer, but he also just the hyping and, you know, just getting the brand out there.
Well, yeah, and it wasn't even just hyping. It was knowing who to trust. Mm-hmm. You know, that's the thing. Is you know, you can talk all you want about Stan and Jack or Stan and Ditko, but at the end of the day, what Stan said was, you know what? I know you're going to write a good story. You know, mm-hmm. You know, I'll put in the dialogue. You know, I don't even think that Stan putting in the dialogue was ever an ego thing for him. I think it was just that, you know what, I'm actually pretty good at the dialogue stuff, and Jack and, you know, Steve, maybe you're not as good at the dialogue stuff, because for what it's worth, Steve Ditko will want to talk about, you know, objectivism. Yeah. And, you know, for what it's worth, you know, here's the thing, you know, it's artists are by their nature self-aggrandizing. There are very few truly humble artists. And for as much as Lee gets that level as a hype man, I actually always felt he was remarkably humble for the industry he worked in. Because it's Stan Lee who calls Jack to keep Kirby, you know? And, you know, that guy who can sort of be the behind-the-scenes guy, which I think Jim Shooter had in his own way. You know, I think that, yeah, he was the one telling everyone what they had to do, but at the same time, he never made it about... I never felt reading comics in the 80s that I was reading a Jim Shooter comic. The way that maybe I felt like I was reading a Stan Lee comic, you know? I think that Jim Shooter always kept his distance, but just said, look, we are living in really, in his own way, Jim Shooter kind of presupposed the Disney universe. Mm-hmm. He understood, look, there are characters that we need to create, and these characters need to hit certain notes, because that's what we do for a living. You know, you can't say, oh, well, we're going to do something different this week, because no, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works, as the old saying goes. So yeah, I think Funny Animal Hard-Boiled Noir Detective will be a really good spot for our good friend Jim Shooter.
Oh yeah,
and I for one support that. But I do think, you know, honestly, DC should think about investing.
Oh yeah,
DC should think about getting in on the Shooter train.
I mean, he was at Marvel for how long? You know, he's got to have some tricks up his sleeve.
Well, not for nothing. He really, and here's the thing, you know, and I know this is just sort of my prejudice on this subject. I think that Shooter was doing everything that got famous in comics over at DC in the 80s and 90s well before they did it.
Yeah.
I think that Jim Shooter was saying, okay, let's deconstruct the idea of superheroes. Let's look at our darker heroes and allow them to be dark. Mm. You know, what does it mean to be a dark superhero in the Marvel universe? You know, not everything was sunshine and puppy dogs under Jim Shooter, you know? And you know, I think that is something that is often overlooked with him. Mm. But that's my opinion, you know. But yeah, that's that. But you know, right now, as everything goes, you know, DC is looking for things. Marvel is looking for things. DC, I do wonder about DC's branding around the Joker, and I wonder about Marvel's recent decision to, in Savage Avengers, press up the idea of Crom. Mm-hmm. Nihilistic deity, because we are living in kind of nihilistic times, and in a nihilistic time, your marketing needs to appeal to that. Now, for what it's worth, comic books have been in a nihilistic state for years, and really, to give Alan Moore his fair due, the character from V from Vendetta, very much a nihilist. He's an Ubermensch nihilist, which is its own bag of hammers, I'm sure. But he is a nihilist, and that's why he was embraced by a large group of people who are embracing nihilism as a philosophy. And it's an interesting question about nihilism as to whether or not you can ever have a nihilism that is, at its core, kind of positive. I always look at this when I think about things like, you know, as I always say about the greed for all Ferenginar. And the idea of, could you have an objectivism that was, at its core, a positive? And now, of course, obviously, when Ayn Rand talks about objectivism, she is talking about it in a positive light, even as she's murdering thousands of people. And the question is could you have that objectivism that didn't rely on murdering everyone? Could you have an objectivism that was just like, hey, this is actually a good idea, maybe we should all do this instead? You know, could you have a capitalism that just looked like a good idea? And that's always sort of where I'm at with the Ferengi, because I kind of feel that they hit that mark. But that's in a post-want world. And I think in a post-want world, you just have to sort of find a philosophy.
Hey, but I mean, do you think it's nihilism, or is it just like, are they looking at the numbers and then like, hey, this Harley Quinn seems pretty popular, let's throw her in 50 things. Hey, we got a Joker movie coming out in a week, let's throw out like 4 Joker miniseries in October.
Well, yeah. I mean, what I'll tell you is it's a little from column A and a little from column B. You know, they are seeing that this idea is a seller.
Mm-hmm.
This nihilism is a seller. The kids today, they love the nihilism.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I don't think the company cares either way. I mean, if they thought fluffy pink bunnies were a sell, they'd give you 10 fluffy pink bunny books a month. You know, I think that for them, it's just like, what can we? At this point, it's like, what can we sell? Comics are in trouble. What can we sell?
Yeah, but I think that so. And this goes back to my thing about Conan being a Crom's witness, you know? The idea that Conan is preaching the gospel of Crom, you know, is about Disney trying to say, hey, what if we found a way to really monetize nihilism? Create an entire philosophical argument that sell t-shirts. So that all these kids who want to be nihilists can go buy Crom T-shirts, and we can make a dime on the back end. You know, we'll give a little to the state, of course, but yeah, we wanna make some money off of this. We want to make some money off of this nihilism the kids are liking. You know, you know, they actually touched on this in I believe it was the Allred run of Fantastic Four, where they had where they created the Thing masked Yancey Street gang hackers. So the Yancey Street gang became hackers, but they were like activist hackers, and because that's nothing for 5 minutes, if you might recall. That was back in the early teens. You kids today probably don't even remember that, but activists were a thing for a while there. And it is based on the idea of the Guy Fawkes mask, which goes back to, of course, the great Alan Moore and his V for Vendetta theory. Although, you know, of course, Guy Fawkes himself also preached revolution, in his case, to reinstall the Pope as the absolute supremacy in the world. There's other videos on YouTube for that, kids. Look them up. But I do think that Disney is looking to monetize it, and I think DC would like to monetize it as well. But, you know, maybe they're pushing this Joker and their Harleys mostly because they know that people like the way that these characters make them feel. And when you think about something like the worry about, you know, violence around the Joker movie, and as I said, I'm certain that DC is pumping that up, that idea that, oh, people might be violent about this film. Ooh, it's controversial. You know, I do think that's a marketing ploy by DC. And I think the pushing of the Joker is that marketing ploy by DC.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that people want to see things burn. The Joker wants to see things burn. Here you go. Here's a story that'll make you want to watch things.
And like I said, I don't think it hurts that they're connected to Batman either.
Yeah. You know, I kind of think that the Joker has some life of his own outside of Batman.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, again, it's just a bonus, you know, because that's like their most popular franchise is Batman.
Yeah, he is their bread and butter. There's no denying that. I always wonder how Superman is doing, you know, as an icon.
Well, I think that's what Lilith was even saying. Is like that's the reason they brought Bendis in, is to like, you know, shine up Superman and like try to give him a little bump, you know.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, you know, I hope he's doing. I think Bendis probably has a good handle on it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't read the books, but I think, you know, here's what I'll tell you: anything that happens in the story is irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
What makes a character good is how they react within their story.
Mm-hmm.
So doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter who the villain is. It doesn't matter what the villain is doing or what's happening in the story. What matters is how the character reacts to that. Now, there was a recent thing where I guess they decided they had to make Moon Girl again say I'm smarter than Reed Richards, which honestly, much like Valeria saying how much smarter she is than her dad, is like, okay, sweetheart. Although, here's what I'll say, and this was always, they actually had a scene with that in Fantastic Four where Moon Girl met Valeria, and Valeria said, I'm actually the smartest girl on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And Valeria said, yes, well, I have been off planet for a while, so. But, of course, what makes Reed is that usually he doesn't care.
Yeah.
He's not one to play the game. But apparently they wanted him to play the game in the recent issue of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. And, I get the idea that, when someone puts a puzzle in front of you, you kind of have to solve it.
Mm-hmm.
And someone might solve the puzzle faster than you, and you might get upset by that. And I get that. But I just kind of felt it was a little out of character for Reed to have him do all this. I kind of felt like Reed is the kind of guy who really doesn't care if people think he's the smartest man in the world. It's because for what it's worth, Reed doesn't think he's the smartest man in the world.
I mean, is he just like trying to encourage the youth of
Well, I think the youth was being kind of bratty and wanted to really say she was smarter, and to get mad at Reed Richards for some reason. And it's like he what it is? He got baited into it, and then she did what she did, and of course it's her book, so she won.
Yeah. But I mean, is it just like trying to say, okay, yeah, you're smarter than me? Okay, prove it. Go fix the world.
Well, for what it's worth, that's the thing. It's like, when it comes to, are you smarter than me? Well, what does that even mean?
Yeah. And
you can say, well, on an objective intelligence test, person A is smarter than person B.
Pure IQ.
But does that act? Yeah. But is that the best way to? Is that the best way to judge intelligence? Is intellectual capacity the best way to judge intelligence?
That's just potential, right? I mean,
well, even potential or actual, it's one factor.
Oh yeah, it's like,
and that's what it always comes down to. Like Reed Richards, of all the super geniuses in the Marvel universe, he's the only one with a wife. He's the only one with a family. He's the only one with close friends. I mean, really. And let's be honest here. Tony. I mean, he has Pepper Potts, sort of. Happy is dead, but even then, Happy was married to Pepper. So it's not like this guy was connecting with people.
Yeah.
Has nobody. Banner has a really kind of obsessive, abusive relationship with Betty.
Yeah.
I don't even know what Amadeus Cho is up to right now.
But I mean, I always saw Reed Richards as the smartest guy in the Marvel universe just because I thought he was the most versatile. Because you got your Tony Starks who's in the technology, and you have what's Pym into, like biochemistry or whatever. They all have seem to have their specialties. Reed Richards seems to take from column A and column B. He seems to know the most about all of it.
Well, yeah, I mean, he definitely has the eidetic memory going for him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's very good at crossing the streams, as they say. He can look at two things and see how they relate, even when they don't actually relate at all. And that's a very positive thing for Reed Richards. But like I said, I think what really sells Reed Richards is that he can handle being both super intelligent and being a human being in his day-to-day life.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what everyone else, what Tony Stark, what Dr. Doom, what Hank Pym lack, is none of them ever learned how to be human.
Yeah.
So that's my take on that, and it's an interesting idea. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that Reed Richards is maybe the most human genius of them all, or is he just one more bad choice making genius?
Write in, or if you're watching this video, put a comment on it.
Yes, and for what it's worth, one of the inspirations for this line of discussion was pointing out that Peter Parker is technically the smartest person in the Marvel universe because everybody else had all these resources, and Peter's building web shooters and spotter tracers with junk he has in his house
as a teenager.
Yeah. So he is way, way beyond everybody else. But again, makes bad choices. But then so do all the other ones. And what really separates the Reed Richards and the Peter Parkers of the world is they know when they make bad choices, and then they try to make them better.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the key. Okay.
Did you want to talk Kevin Feige?
Kevin Feige's they're letting him play with Star Wars now. Now, as far as I know, he's not taking over the Star Wars verse. That's still under Kennedy, right?
I'm not sure. I would. Do you think he's going to just be like a creative consultant or something?
Well, that's with all these Hollywood deals. You don't really know until you.
Yeah.
Right now, it seems like he has been given the opportunity to essentially take over the storytelling, at least with one.
Yeah,
movie.
I'm looking this up. I'm guessing it's saying that Kathleen Kennedy and Kevin Feige are going to work together.
Oh, okay, yeah, and that's fair,
Yeah.
I think what they want Kevin Feige to bring the idea of how do you make an interconnected universe a thing, because that's what Kevin Feige did. Is he said, "Oh, here's how you connect your universes." Now the big question is are we now finally going to get the Patton Oswalt pitch for the Star Wars Marvel crossover? Kang, who, funnily enough, Marvel just got access to again.
Yeah.
So you could argue that someone at Disney is sitting there watching that old Parks and Rec argument from Patton Oswalt and saying, we actually do have Kang again. And Kevin, what would you do? How could you bring the Star Wars universe into the Marvel universe? And for those of you saying, well, that's just ridiculous, think about the recent use of Conan in the Marvel universe.
Mm-hmm.
And their decision to just basically rub their Conan on everything in the Marvel universe right now. For no other reason than just because they can, because, again, they're purchasing the right. Maybe what it is that they're using the rights to Conan because they think the copyright is about to run out on him. And that's a possibility. But actually, that's not the same as his trademark. I think the Haggards still own his trademark. And so I don't know if you can just run it out and then Conan becomes public domain. I don't know for certain, but we'll have to find out. I'm sorry, what? No.
But at least for one movie, yeah. You could do. You'd have to do what? Guardians of the Galaxy, probably. You could have Star-Lord as for one movie be your Han Solo.
Well, he's already Marvel.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, you could plug Guardians probably the easiest in the Star Wars.
Yeah, well, but if you want to go into let's say it is, you want to go into a Star Wars universe, what does that mean? Because it is in another galaxy, meaning that we have to go to another galaxy, and that's not insurmountable, obviously.
Wormhole, quote unquote.
Well, that's what I'm thinking, Tristan. Tristan's pointing out that not only is it in a galaxy far, far away, but it was long ago. However, you could link up with time travel or with just the modern. So, for example, when you say that it happened long, long ago, not for nothing, 1973 was a long time ago. So you could actually say, no, Rey is a contemporary of Star-Lord. So if we're going to go so Star-Lord could meet Rey, because, hey, that was 30 years ago. That was a long time ago. 40.
Yeah, because they've aged in real time, right? At least Harrison Ford and all them aged in real time, it seemed like.
Exactly. So when you say it happened a long time ago, but you watch it now, that could have been 40 years in the past.
Remember what Spider-Man said, that old movie.
Exactly, that old movie. And for what it's worth, maybe that was Marvel already setting up the idea. That when we say that Star Wars took place long ago, we just meant the original trilogy. Or the original prequels were long ago. And then, of course, the prequels had to be long ago, because they were even before the trilogy. Yes. And the trilogy comes out and it's long ago also. And now, basically, you could very easily make the argument that Rey's kids could meet Star-Lord, and we could introduce the Jedi into the Marvel Universe seamlessly in that way. If that was something we were working on.
Yeah. I mean, depending how you play with time travel and stuff, I mean, you could have Darth Vader in the Marvel Universe.
Well, why not? If you have Kang, I mean, here's the thing. If Kang just said, I must find the greatest powers in the universe to fight the Grand Master for reasons, why not pull in Darth Vader? And we all know that, I'm sure James Earl Jones would enjoy the voiceover work. What's your question, Tristan? What? Yes, Lego Movie was made by Warner Brothers.
The young man in the back.
Because they purchased the rights to it. Yeah, that's how that works. Because they can. They just didn't want to. Yeah, possibly. I mean, the reality is, Tristan, they can put anything in a Lego movie that they want to if they want to pay for the rights to that character. Some characters are more expensive. Some characters are less expensive. Some characters are public domain, like Merlin. Darth Vader, not so much yet. Yes, Tristan. What's your question? But one more, because I have to get back to my podcast. Well, he didn't destroy the Sith. He was a Sith. He killed Palpatine, but that doesn't mean that there weren't other apprentice Sith out there. Because we saw that even as Count Dooku was an apprentice to Darth Sidious, he was also already cultivating other acolytes. So, yeah, the old guy is the Emperor. Oh, you mean Obi-Wan Kenobi?
No, not Obi-Wan Kenobi. I mean, the guy in that weird chair and was talking to,
Oh, you mean Snoke?
Yeah, Snoke.
Oh, Snoke. Well, there's been theories about that, too. But actually, I think most people think that Snoke was just Snoke. Okay. Moving right along. You want to talk comics?
Yeah, let's talk comics before you fall asleep.
I'm trying my best, man. Agents of Wakanda.
Ooh.
This last week came out. I didn't get it. I should have. And you know why? Because look at that. There's Gorilla Man right on the cover. I don't know why they did that whole, Gorilla Man might be evil over in Avengers, because it's like, dude, why you gotta hurt on Gorilla Man? But we basically have the team, which is John Jameson and the Wasp and Gorilla Man, and in this it's just Jameson and the Wasp trying to beat up on some tech terrorists here. And basically it's like, we're a team, but we haven't learned to fight as a team yet story. And it's like, yes, so you will in time. And here we go. Hero of the Week, Fat Cobra is in it. Fat Cobra, man.
I remember him from the Immortal Iron Fist book.
Yeah, well, he's still immortal, and he's still he's still a weapon. Yeah, because he died in that book, so obviously he has to be immortal.
Oh no! I think during what was that? That Doctor Strange storyline. That one in Vegas. I think Danny Rand went to hell, and I think he brought Fat Cobra back.
Well, that's cool. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's entirely possible. I didn't read that book, so I'll take your word for it.
Oh, Doctor Strange Damnation. Yeah, that's the story.
But anyway, there's a disturbance in the Force. They go to check it out. We find out that, oh, look, there's some kind of crazy thing that doesn't let us see what's going on, so let me use my powers and open the door, says Black Panther. And they open the door, and of course, it's full of things. Things eating things. And fight. Fat Cobra gets a great arc in this story, because he's like, I am the immortal warrior, Fat Cobra, I've harnessed the chi. The chi is kind of messed up, but I'm fighting, yada, yada, yada. And then our big reveal at the end, after he says, what kind of evil could bring this about the world? Oh, shoot. He says, I can't see what I'm showing you here. Says, oh, bleep, it's the Sentry.
I did see that spoiler, yes.
Yes, the Sentry is back, kids. And he's evil. Yeah, I like Bob Reynolds as much as the next guy. And
they basically just use him as a plot device. It's like, oh, we need him good. Oh, we need him evil.
He is like the Beyonder, but without the baggage of the Beyonder.
Yeah.
He's like the Beyonder if you could reasonably punch him. Because you can't really reasonably punch the Beyonder. I mean, you could punch the Beyonder, but it's not like you're going to beat the Beyonder into submission.
I mean, it's basically whatever the story needs. Is he good Superman? Is he bad Superman? What do we need?
He's mentally ill.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they can swing him back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm glad the Sentry's back. I can't wait to get the next issue of Agents of Wakanda. I may just put it direct on pull.
I will check that out.
And let's get to Superior Spider-Man.
Oh, yes, number 11.
Yes, my issue got rained on, so it's a little wrinkly. Oh, so, Norman Osborn, he's, doing his evilly, plotty stuff. He's attacking the kid that, Otto kind of fond of. Not in that way, people. Get your head out of it. But, yeah, and Osborn says, okay, well, the deal is, if you kill 3 innocent people, I won't kill this kid. And it's like, it's a no-win situation.
Yeah, because he's like, it can't be like people who are about to die. It can't be criminals. It has to be 3 innocent people. So I want to prove what a failure the Superior Spider-Man is.
Yeah, which is just like, gods. This is why Batman should use guns.
No, he did for like the first year he was around, but even
I know, but if a villain started monologuing and Batman just totally 2-gun kid him,
like Indiana Jones,
like Indiana Jones did, but I like 2-gun kid because it was like just that he was just that fast, or Rawhide Kid was just literally that fast that you would be talking and you wouldn't even notice that he just pulled his gun and shot you. Yeah, that was. Oh, Kid Colt. Kid Colt was like that too. Kid Colt was when it came to the future and outdrew. What are those people with the plastic gun hands? They're all over the place in the current Immortal Hulk run.
With the plastic hands?
Yeah, they make their body into guns.
You're not talking about Bushwhacker, are you?
Well, he's one. There's actually there's a whole group of those guys, and then once in a She-Hulk comic had the 2-gun had Kid Colt outdraw him because he's like, you can't outdraw me. You've got a gun. I'm literally a gun. He's like, oh, then let's see how well you do, and then he just outdraws him which is actually there is an interesting argument about that as far as nerve reaction times, and that a person with a gun drawn actually has a disadvantage over someone drawing a gun, because if you're pulling the trigger as you're drawing, you're actually moving faster than the person who has the gun in place because of the way that the neurons are reacting to the situation. But fun fact, possibly entirely messed up, but of course, when you are a Spider and you're in a situation you can't solve, who do you turn to, Phil?
Well, since I guess he scanned Doctor Strange's mystic signature a few issues back, he can just call Mephisto.
You know what? And Mephisto says, dude, You just had to say my name. Like, literally, there are people who I have on speed dial. And if you got a spider, you're on speed dial, sweetheart. Yep. But okay, you figured it out. You called me to the mortal realm where I'm actually trapped on right now. For reasons, you know. And he makes the deal. Well, he says, okay, look. Well, and one of the things I love in this is like, you know, I was like, yes, find my soul, whatever. And he's like, why do you think I would want your soul? First of your soul, I already have it. Maybe I actually would like to get rid of it. Because maybe you're a bit of a pain, even in hell, Otto. Which I love the idea of. That Otto in hell is just so much of a pain. Mephisto can't take it anymore.
But I just love what, you know, but Otto's like, I can't defeat Osborn as I am. I have to go back to what I am, but without, you know, he's always saying, you know, I was evil just because of the brain damage, but, you know, Mephisto's like, I can put you back the way you were and cure any disease if there was any.
But you know what? This is why because of course we get our big reveal, bum bum bum. Oh no! He took the deal. It's old Otto back. Oh no! What will we ever do? If you're gonna have Mephisto put you back in your old body, you're gonna be fat. I'm just gonna say, as a fat man myself, if I was getting a new body made, I would not carry the weight. Not because I think there's anything wrong with carrying the weight, but just because it's kind of a thing. It's a lot of stuff to carry. And so I'm fairly certain this is another robot Doc Ock.
Oh yeah, because I mean they showed him discussing the deal, but we never see him actually accept the deal.
Well, I'm going to give you one better. You know who this is?
Who?
This is the original Otto Octavius. And you know why it's the original Otto Octavius?
Because he has 20 million backup copies of his brain. This is like the original. This is the master plan.
Remember when he was working with the Jackal?
Yes.
And they had the original Doc Ock DNA.
Oh yeah.
And maybe his idea was, you know what? I could make a deal with the devil, but if I'm going to make a deal with the devil, I just make a deal with myself. And he brings back the original Doc Ock. And he's like, hello, Doc Ock. I brought you back to life. I am you, but you are also me. Now, here's what we need to do. I need you to be as ruthless of a supervillain as you can be. And because essentially, here's the thing. Doc Ock, he's a smart guy. And when you think about like everything that Mephisto promised him, I'll put you in your old body. You'll be just as you were, but without the memories of universe. It's like, oh, well, wait a minute. I could actually just do that. Yeah. I actually have a lab to do that right now.
That's what I think we're going to...
Is Mephistopheles. I'm just going to do this on my own. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's what I think we're going to get next issue. We're going to see him saying, be gone, Mephisto. I do not need you. And yeah, but no, you mentioned the Jackal. I was thinking robot. What if this is a clone?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, what if I just clone? Maybe let me just make another one of these
with a copy.
I'll put it
with a copy of Otto's brain before he ever did any Superior Spider-Man stuff.
Well, yeah, or he just removes the Parker stuff.
Yeah,
because he wants him to have all the memories he has.
But I'm saying he's always backing up that brain. He probably has a copy from before, even his first time as Superior Spider-Man.
Oh, well, that's true too. Yeah, he probably has a wide range of data points to choose.
Oh, in the 90s when he was killed, they revealed his brain was like in a computer or something. So I mean, yeah, he's been backing up his brain at least since the 90s.
I know, and for what it's worth, that's why there's a lot of Ottos in hell, which is why Mephisto was like, yeah, do I really need another Otto? Maybe I'd actually like to get rid of a couple of you guys. Otto's down here, man. You're almost as bad as the Wizard. It's like,
our slum in hell is Ottoville.
Not for nothing. I would wager that's true. Yeah. I would wager there's an entire subsection of hell that's just dedicated to clone supervillains, and it's just all clone super.
But I mean, I'll even go you one better. Is Mephisto even in hell right now? I mean, in the Avengers right now, Johnny Blaze is still the king of hell, and I think Mephisto is supposedly still in Las Vegas. So
yeah, and for what it's worth, he's trying to get back to hell.
Yeah.
And you know, I think his whole line there about, oh, I'd love to help you, but just understand he's from another universe, and I'm sure my alternate universe counterpart would be not happy. Yeah. But it's like, does he really have an alternate universe counterpart, or are they like metaphysical beings that exist on a billion different planes at once and are kind of the same person?
So so this Mephisto is the Mephisto for all realities, you're saying?
Well, I think that all Mephistos are all the Mephistos for all realities. So I think that, you know how like the Watcher looks out into another universe and says, oh, and in this universe, Mephisto had a sandwich on Tuesday. I think Mephisto feels that link to that other Mephisto, and all the Mephistos are the same Mephisto. They're like, the reason that they're Mephisto isn't because they're Mephisto. That's for our amusement. You know, that's the thing. Is like, this is all for us. You know, this is the show he puts on for us. And so I think that, you know, I don't think that's a valid argument that he's from another universe. So if I were to cause problems, you know, my other stuff would be mad. You know, as if all the hells of Mephisto's realm weren't interconnected with everyone from a dozen different universes.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. I think when you get to these universal concepts, they transcend the multiverse because they have to. So I think that's a cop out, but that's all part of what he's doing. And then Anna Marie makes her argument of like, don't like, Otto, don't make a deal with the literal devil, you know. And the thing is, and that's the thing, is like, I think Otto is smart enough not to do that. I think Otto is smart enough to say, you know, like I said, if you say you'll make me, but take away whatever it was, well, actually, I could do that myself. I could create, and I think that's what we have. We have another Doc Ock. I think he's going to create this Doc Ock, and I'm going to tell you, here's the dark, twisted aspect of it that's going to be issues, is he's going to use freaking Jackal technology, so he knows his clone has a shelf.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, he's going to degenerate after a time, yeah.
Which is going to cause problems, because you know why that's going to cause problems, Phil?
Why?
Because that Otto is going to fix himself.
Oh.
And then he's going to be like, now I have a new enemy.
His self.
Yeah, Tobias, or whatever his name is. Yeah, so he's going to bring back Doc Ock, so we have a Doc Ock on hand for everyone who needs a Doc Ock, and it's going to be fun when he first meets the actual Spider-Man. He's like, I'm not that pretender, you know, who says he used to be me. I'm the real me. My brilliance cured myself, yada, yada, yada. So,
it's going to be like Doom and Kristoff back in the day.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Exactly, Phil. But one will be fat. So, you know, and that's the other thing. It's like, when you really talk about like going back to being Otto Octavius, it's like, would Otto really give up Sparta strength?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, that's addictive, man. When you actually have that strength just in your arm, you know, that's not something you walk away from. Let's talk Captain America.
Yes, number 14.
Yeah. This was kind of weird.
Yeah.
He calls Echo an engine.
Oh, wait. Was that him calling her that, or was that her calling herself that?
I kind of think that's Cap's narrative the whole time at the start.
Okay, because, well...
Now we've got this Steph engine. Yeah, I don't know. It just felt very... Again, speaking of things that seem kind of out of character, Ta-Nehisi, you don't have to have... Ta-Nehisi, don't make Cap use racial slurs. He hasn't up until now. Why do you want to be the guy that says, hey, I made Cap use racial slurs?
Yeah, I mean...
It's just weird. And I get maybe he's trying to narrate within context of what he thinks about, you know, like he's talking about the John Wayne
No,
world and all that.
John Wayne, and then there are quotes around Deaf Engine Chick.
Yeah, and I get that, but it's also like, I mean, I get what he's trying to do.
Yeah,
I just, I felt like it's kind of a press button. It's like, hey, here's something that'll get the internet up in an uproar. And I'm going to tell you this right now, Ta-Nehisi, if people aren't freaking out over Blue Korg, they're not going to freak out over this. There are certain things that I see that no one else ever even picked up.
I don't think he was trying to push that button. I think he was. It was just Cap, like saying, "Oh, this is how people see her, but she's more than that." It just came off weird. But I don't.
It comes off weird. Most of that does come off weird. But
Steve shouldn't even be Steve Rogers doesn't think that way.
No, he doesn't. I mean. Steve Rogers, he's Mr. Rogers. He actually cares about whether or not you actually feel good about yourself,
I always say he's basically Superman, just without the powers.
Yeah, Sun's back in this one. That's fun. I mean,
When did she get her face back? I thought, didn't she have like a red skull?
She had a red skull. No, she got her face back. I want to say that Red Skull fixed her face. Oh, no. Someone fixed her face.
Was it Secret Wars, maybe?
There was a cosmic cube thing involved.
Oh, maybe during Pleasant Hill, maybe?
That's right. That's where it was. It was whatever that girl's name was.
Was it Kubik or Kobik or...
Yeah, it was Kobik. Kubik's another sentient cosmic cube. Come on, cubes can have more than one name.
I know, but yeah, you're right. You just reminded me. Yeah, I think it was Pleasant Hill.
Yes, so Kobik fixed her face, and now she's back. Although she's got a little scar here. She's got her doom scar. That's how you know you're evil, because you can't get over your doom scar. Yeah, solid light. I don't know how I feel about the solid light shield. Just strange.
I get why he's not wearing the suit, but does he have to put... I mean, it's symbolic, but is there a practical reason why he can't use the shield? He has it.
Yeah, and not for nothing, he could always paint it red and black again. Yeah, it's a choice he's making.
You could paint the thing black or something. I mean...
And maybe he's kind of in a funk. I think maybe it's mostly that he's kind of in a funk, and he's like, oh... No one can be Captain America because Captain America is for pure America, and this America sucks.
Maybe.
And for what it's worth, we just brought back Ricky Barnes as, there you go. There you go. That's what we're building to. Ricky Barnes is going to be the next Captain America. Just to troll everybody. And I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that.
If you're going to do that, why don't you just bring back Sam Wilson? Because he's going to have that. She's going to be carrying the shield in that show.
Yeah, I mean that's fine too. I mean I'm totally cool with Sam Wilson picking up the shield again. Yeah, I mean it's a good book. I'm not going to say it's not a good book. It's very much made me happy. So but it was just that one. It's that one little line that makes you go like, really?
Yeah.
A little much, I know Cap is from the 40s, but, for what it's worth, he literally has peak intelligence. He knows how to talk and other words to use.
I think it was just Ta-Nehisi trying to have Steve think like the enemy. It's like, oh, this is how the enemy sees her and stuff. But yeah. It could have been written better or more subtly or something. Yeah.
Oh, we can always say that.
Yeah.
Okay, Philip. Anything else you want to talk about this week?
Nah, let's get out of here before you pass out.
It's mere moments away.
It's late.
Yeah. Oh, Philip, how can people find you?
Well, if you want to get a hold of me personally, you can always email me, nightwingpdp@gmail.com. On Twitter, I am at nightwingpdp. And remember, you can always find Superconnectivity on Facebook, on Twitter, at SuperConnectPod, and just find Capes and Lunatics on all the social medias.
And if you'd like to write to me in that old-fashioned email way there our mothers and fathers once did, use superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, at gmail.com. And of course, follow me on Twitter as I live tweet Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is coming back, Cloak and Dagger, which is coming back, and are going to show up in the new, in upcoming episodes of the current Spider-Man series, where the Superior Spider-Man arc is currently being explored in a fun way. Write to follow me at Charlie Esser. That's CharlieEsser. Look for the 2 E's right there in the middle.
For quality. Bing!
There you go. Gotta wait for it sometime.
Button stuck.
Oh, yeah, that's what she said.
Oh!
I don't even know how that works.
Sorry, little fell far.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for one more night of having a fun connection with me and Philip. Please super connect with us again next week. Good night.
Good night. Oh, hey, did you ever think of live tweeting that Spider-Man cartoon?
You know what? It's on at weird
It's like
times.
Sunday night at 9:30, I think. I don't know why they put it on then. Like the
Yeah, I mean, I should try. I should try. I should try, because I am enjoying it.
at least Superior Spider-Man arc.
Exactly. I should. You know what, Philip? I'm going to make a point to try and do that.